Good evening. Welcome to the National News Broadcast. I'm Kasuni Balachandra.
And I am Tilina Udayaratna. We begin with a look at the headlines for tonight. Constructions of the second phase of Colombo Port's Eastern Terminal will commence tomorrow. Former MP Ravi Karunanayake challenges for a debate over irregularities directly linked to former President Maithripala Sirisena. The Cabinet grants approval to import rice to be distributed among the public at fair prices. A COVID-19 vaccine week announced from today. The new chairman of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, Sonala Gunawardena, assumes duties. 3 baby elephants have been given names. For the first time, a man receives a heart from a genetically modified pig.
Moving on to those and other stories in detail. The biggest development project of the Sri Lanka port is set to commence tomorrow. Accordingly, the second phase of the Eastern Terminal will begin henceforth. Colombo Port continued to engage in trade and commerce with the Western countries even before the Portuguese invaded Sri Lanka in 1505. Following their rule in the country, the Dutch took control of the Colombo Port in 1976. The Dutch regarded this area as cinnamon gardens. Subsequently, the control of the Colombo Port was taken over by the English. Then the Colombo Port was gradually developed during this period. The construction of the port's first breakwater at a length of 2.7 kilometers was commenced in the year 1875. The English rulers took 37 years to complete this project. Subsequently, Colombo Port became one of the main ports in the world which provides services for the maritime trading routes. The English administration in the country established Colombo Port Commission in the year 1913. Following the independence, steps were taken to expand anchorage, lodgings and storage facilities. Subsequently, the Ports Authority was established in 1958. Then the Sri Lanka Ports Authority was established in 1979. Accordingly, Colombo Port became the maritime hub of the South Asian region. The golden era of Colombo Port was in the period between the year 2005 and 2015. Under the Mahinda Chintana policy statement, the Colombo Port Expansion Development Project was initiated. Under this project, the construction of 6.8 kilometers long second breakwater was commenced in 2008. Even though the English administrators took 37 years to construct the first breakwater, then government was able to complete the construction of the second breakwater in 4 years. Under the first phase of the project, steps were taken to expand and develop services in the Jaya Container Terminal. Meanwhile, the Ports Authority was able to complete the construction of the Southern Terminal. The services of the relevant terminal are currently being carried out under CICT by the Colombo Ports Authority jointly with a partner company. The Southern Terminal has the facilities to operate any large ship in the world. The most significant section of the entire port is the 1,320-meter long Eastern Terminal. Under the first phase of the project, a 600-meter section was built, while under the second phase, the 720-meter section is currently under construction. The total estimated expenditure for the development project is at 40,000 million rupees. The constructions are expected to be completed in 2024. The new terminal will consist of 6 cranes which could operate from land, while facilities have been allocated for 20 state-of-the-art gantry cranes. The main objective of the present government is to transform Sri Lanka as the maritime hub of prosperity. Under this plan, the Ports Authority will initiate the National Ports Plan until the year 2050. Accordingly, the government's main objective is to increase the container operating capacity in the Colombo Port at present up to 35 million by 2050.
Minister Rohitha Abbegunawardena says the measures to elevate the Colombo port among the best 5 ports in the world by the year 2035 have been initiated. He made these remarks during a media briefing held at the government's information department to announce the initiations of the Colombo Port Eastern Terminal's development project. Minister Rohitha Abbegunawardena said that in 2015, they had completed a 420-meter section of the Eastern Terminal before the governments changed. They had also offered 3 STS-type cranes. However, the Good Governance government cancelled these orders after forming the government, which led to many diplomatic-level issues. The government was able to negotiate with friendly nations to develop the Eastern Terminal through the Sri Lanka Ports Authority. The Western Terminal will also open from this February under state partnership. He added that container operations worth 7 million rupees are being conducted at present. The government expects to increase the present capacity of 7 million up to 10.05 million following the completion of the Eastern Terminal. The capacity will increase up to 14 million following the completion of the Western Terminal. The minister emphasized that the Colombo port, which is ranked at 23rd, will climb up to the 13th position in another 2 years. The government expects to initiate the second phase of the Western Terminal in 2028. The government expects to initiate the constructions of the northern breakwater surrounding the Kalani River. The ownership of another 3 terminals will be handed over to the government with the implementation of the northern breakwater. Subsequently, the container capacity will increase up to 35 million by 2035.
Former parliamentarian of United National Party Ravi Karnanayake challenges for an open debate over the irregularities directly linked to former President Maithripala Sirisena during his presidential tenure. He made these remarks while taking part in a media briefing held in Colombo today. Former UNP parliamentarian Ravi Karnanayake said that a controversial issue occurred over the accumulation of hundreds of thousands of US dollars from the end of November to the beginning of December during the presidential election period in 2014. He said that an issue occurred in the central bank over the receipt of the money to El Cardo company, which is linked to the former president. He added that the central bank filed a case in this regard. The former MP pointed out that if an account as such receives more than 15,000 US dollars, then those individuals will be imprisoned without bail for this offence. Accordingly, he said that there is no information over this court case. He further said that the former president instructed not to issue bar licenses. However, the former MP said that letters were received by the excise department from the top management to issue AFL licenses to a relative of the former president. He also said that the then government attempted to impose more taxes from these initiatives, yet a recommendation was issued to provide a 265,000 duty-free on these initiatives instead. He further said that when he was the Minister of Renewable Energy, they received many solar power projects, but a directive was issued to grant permission to present a tender at $150 without a tender process. Therefore, he challenged the former president for a debate over these incidents.
Co-cabinet spokesman Minister Ramesh Patirana says that the present economic crisis in the country will gradually ease in the next 3 months. The minister made these remarks during a media briefing held at the government's information department to announce the cabinet decisions today. Minister Ramesh Patirana said that no government prefers to see a price hike of commodities during their tenure. No government prefers to see their people criticize the government while being on long queues to receive goods. However, the minister said that most of the current issues in the country have developed with the global crisis. The government is confident that they will be able to mitigate this crisis in an effective manner. The tourism industry is returning to normalcy and migrant workers are returning to their foreign employments and exports are at a satisfactory level. Therefore, the government should be able to resolve the present situation in the country in 3 months' time. The minister also made remarks over the prevailing electricity crisis. He said that the government will be able to manage the present situation within the next 5 days. However, power interruptions may occur in emergency situations. Therefore, the Electricity Board has been informed to issue prior notice over such interruptions. Many alternative schemes for power, including solar power initiatives, have not been referred to at the Electricity Board for a longer period of time. He added that the President is making an immense effort to address this issue while moving ahead with renewable energy initiatives along with the crisis. The country should be able to reach greater heights in terms of energy and power in the future. He accepted that the country is facing a crisis at present and that the government has extended its regret over the inconveniences caused to the public due to this issue.
The newly appointed chairman of Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, Sonala Gunawardena, assumed in his duties today. Before his appointment to Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, he served as the chairman of the National Library of Sri Lanka. He is also a board member of Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. Chairman Gunawardena, a past pupil of Royal College Colombo, obtained his bachelor's from the Faculty of Law in Colombo. He then obtained his postgraduate degree on business management and economics from the University of Shenyang Aerospace, China. He had also assumed many posts in the management level for several local and international institutions. The new chairman assumed in his duties amidst religious observances. Coordinating secretary to the Minister Dalasalaha Peruma Saman Disanayaka and Communications Director of President's Media Division Suresh Nuwantharaka, Director General of Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation Jampati Bandarahin Kenda and Director General of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation Chandrapal Liyanage were present at this occasion. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, Sonal Gunawardena, said that the majority of the present-day generation have grown up with the national television. Therefore, he said that they have a national duty to develop and rebuild this institution. He added that the staff receive salaries from the taxes paid by the people who do not even own a TV. Therefore, he said that if the state sector employees can bear this fact in mind, no state institution would turn out to be a loss-making establishment. Director General of Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, Jampati Bandarahin Kenda, said that the national television is solely responsible in providing some entertainment and knowledge to the general masses.
රටේ ජනතාවට යම්කිසි වින්දනාත්මක දෙයක් බුද්ධිමය දෙයක් ලබා දුන්න ජාතික රූපවාහිනී මහගෙදර අද අනෙකුත් නාලිකාත් සමග ගැටිලා තමන්ගේ අනන්‍යතාවයේ ඒකායන විදියට ඒ කොඳුනාරටි තියාගෙන යන ආයතනයක්. අපි එකතු වුණාම අපිට කරන්න අභියෝග ගොඩක් තියෙනවා.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has instructed the Minister of Trade to take all necessary steps to maintain the price rates of rice at a stable level. Accordingly, the minister, while addressing a media briefing today, said that no room will be left to increase the rates during the festive season under any circumstances. Minister Bandulu Gunawardena said that the price and rice mafia are attempting to increase 1 kilogram of rice up to 300 rupees during the Sinhala and Tamil New Year season with the intention to cause difficulties to the general public. The President and the Cabinet of Ministers have granted special approval for the Minister of Trade to take all necessary measures to stabilize the rice price rates in the market. Provisions have been made to proceed with the sale of rice through the state marketing network, including Satosa and cooperatives. The Cabinet of Ministers granted approval to import 200,000 metric tons of Nadu rice and 100,000 metric tons of the GR11 type short grain rice in place of Samba rice in order to ensure that sufficient quantities of rice in the open market exists. He also said that the private sector has also been given the opportunity to import rice into the country. He emphasized that no room will be left to increase the rates during the festive season under any circumstances.
The Cabinet of Ministers grants approval for the proposal to import required quantities of rice to be distributed among the public at fair price rates. The relevant proposal was presented by Minister Bandulu Gunawardena. Accordingly, 200,000 metric tons of Nadu rice and 100,000 metric tons of GR11 type short grain rice in place of Samba rice are expected to be imported into the country in order to ensure the sufficient quantities of rice in open market. Cabinet of Ministers has also approved the proposal to provide permanent houses for families who are deprived of houses, lands to build houses or residing in houses on rent basis. The proposal was presented by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. 72 housing units are expected to be built in a land plot at Ranpokunagama belonging to National Housing Development Authority under the pilot phase of the project. Cabinet of Ministers has granted approval to purchase local organic fertilizer required for paddy cultivation from two state-owned fertilizer companies. Minister Mahindanand Alutgamage presented this cabinet paper. Accordingly, the procurement process for fertilizer to provide local organic fertilizer for farmers in the Yalla season in 2022 will also be carried out along with this initiative. The Cabinet Ministers has also granted approval to complete the Animal Welfare Draft Bill. The Attorney General's clearance has also been received for the relevant bill. Accordingly, Cabinet Ministers approved to publish the relevant draft bill in the Government Gazette and then present it to the Parliament for approval. The proposal was presented by Minister Mahindananda Alatgamage.
A naming ceremony was held at the Pinnavala Elephant Orphanage. The ceremony was held to name 3 baby elephants at the park. The Pinnavala Elephant Orphanage, which was found in 1975 with 5 baby elephants, consists of 76 elephants at present. A total of 74 baby elephants have been born at the orphanage thus far. Meanwhile, twin baby elephants were born on the 31st of August last year. This is the first and only twin baby elephant birth to have taken place at the orphanage. Another baby elephant was born in the following month. Accordingly, the naming ceremony was held under religious rites and the twin baby elephants were named Disa and Sajjana, while the other baby elephant was named Neelamani. State Minister Kanaka Herath, Parliamentarian Rajika Wickramasinghe and Udayakantha Gunatilaka and Director General of the Department of National Zoological Gardens Shamila Rajapaksha were present at this occasion.
Shastrapati Pandita Venerable Mataramba Hemaratana Thera has been bestowed with the title of Agamaha Pandita by the government of Burma. The Venerable Thera has also been bestowed with the titles of Ashtamaha Viharadipati, including Yatagala Rajamahaviharaya, Gaul and Ruhunumagama Situlpawa Rajamahaviharaya, Hettavala Parivenadipati Chief Sanghanayaka of Dakshina Lanka, Upadhyaya, Durandara Sri Sadharma Bharatishwaracharya, and Sadharma Kirti. The honorary title was bestowed upon Venerable Mataramba Hemaratna Thera in celebration of the Myanmar Independence Day on the 4th of January with the approval of the Chief Prelate of Myanmar Shasana. The Agamaha Pandita title was previously bestowed to many bhikkhus in Sri Lanka, including Most Venerable Polvatte Buddhadatta Thera, Most Venerable Balangoda Anand Maitri Mahathera, Most Venerable Madihe Panya Siha Thera, and Most Venerable Valpola Rahula Thera.
And in local news concerning COVID-19, a vaccine week has been declared. Accordingly, the program, which started today, will continue until the 17th of this month. The aim of this initiative is to create awareness over the myths and misinformation in society over the booster vaccine and provide the vaccine to the public through an effective and convenient program.
Questions have been raised about the possibility of getting long-term side effects related to vaccination as well as getting after infection with COVID. And we need to take into consideration that vaccines itself, there is a theoretical possibility of getting some long-term side effects which are not reported to that extent even up to now, not even in Sri Lanka nor in any part of the world. However, there are so many other adverse complications as a result of post-infection also, as a result of infecting with COVID-19 also reported. All these things are under consideration, analysis, and we have to make sure that whether these things are really happening as a result of the infection or vaccine. Up to now, what we can say is the reported number of adverse or any complications are very minimal in vaccination because we have given vaccination to over 16 million people and third dose has been given to over 4 million persons. And the number of mild side effects are the only reported side effects and no major side effects reported. And the other hand, we have got only 500,000 or just above 500,000 infections reported, and out of them there are a large number of complications, neurological complications, circulatory system related complications and psychiatric complications have been reported. But none of them have been confirmed that this have happened due to the infection. But compared to the reported number, it is always advisable to get the vaccine rather than getting the infection, because even vaccinated people are less likely to get any of these complications even if they get infected.
The inoculation of the first dose of Pfizer for children between the ages of 12 and 15 under the COVID-19 immunization program was conducted successfully in schools island-wide. 34,256,390 vaccine doses have been inoculated in the people in the country by this time. 16,020,257 persons have received the first dose, while 13,862,165 have received both doses. A total of 4,373,968 have received the booster dose thus far. The Director General of Health Services confirmed 15 COVID-19 related deaths which occurred yesterday.
Taking a look at the global situation of the COVID-19 pandemic, neighboring India has reported more than 168,060 new COVID-19 infections today, which is recognized as a 20-fold rise in a month, despite testing being well below capacity. Meanwhile, COVID-19 has infected more than 310.6 million people and has killed over 5.5 million worldwide. Mumbai is witnessing a sharp increase in the number of COVID-19 cases, including the Omicron variant. Subsequently, nearly 1 billion Hindu worshippers are reportedly expected to gather on the banks of Ganges River this Friday and Saturday for a holy bath, despite rising of COVID-19 infections across the country. The latest toll has taken the number of total infections to 35.88 million. Meanwhile, legendary singer Lata Mangeshkar has been admitted to a hospital after she has tested positive for COVID-19. The 92-year-old singer is reportedly in the intensive care unit at the Breach Candy Hospital. Health officials have reported that the singer is suffering from COVID-19 and pneumonia. The United States has reported at least 1.13 million new coronavirus infections, the highest daily total of any country in the world, as the spread of the highly contagious Omicron variant showed no signs of slowing. The 7-day average for new cases has tripled in the United States in 2 weeks to over 700,000 new infections a day, and reports say that the final figure is likely to be even higher. The record in new cases have arrived the same day as the nation saw the number of hospitalized patients also hit an all-time high, having doubled in 3 weeks. Mexico's president has announced that he has come down with COVID-19 for the second time, as coronavirus infections have spiked in Mexico and virus tests become scarce. President Andrés Manuel López Obrador has said that he has tested positive after he had sounded hoarse at a morning news briefing.
The Economic and Commercial Advisory Office of the Chinese Embassy in Colombo has removed the People's Bank of Sri Lanka from the blacklist with immediate effect. The bank's marketing department has announced that the removal of People's Bank from the blacklist was conveyed by an advisor to the office of the Chinese Embassy.
A total of 3,640 unemployed graduates who were recruited into Northwestern Provincial Council received permanent employment letters. Accordingly, the letters were presented at a ceremony held with the participation of Governor of Northwestern Province, Admiral of the Fleet, Vasantha Karannaguda. They received the appointments following one-year training. The ceremony was held at the Northwestern Provincial Council Auditorium. Chairman of the Kurunegala District Development Committee, MP Gunapala Rathasekara, was also present at this occasion. Permanent employment letters were presented to graduates and diploma holders recruited for Sabaragama Provincial State Service. Accordingly, 250 new employees received their appointment letters symbolically yesterday at a ceremony held with the participation of Provincial Governor Tikiri Kobbakadua. 54 graduates at North Thandi and Mahawaba Divisional Secretariat Division received their permanent employment letters yesterday. The event was held with the participation of Chairman of Putlam District Coordination Committee, MP Ashoka Priyantha. Another 71 graduates and diploma holders who were recruited into Kurunegala District State Service received permanent employment letters. The event was held with the participation of parliamentarian Shanta Bandahara.
Sri Lanka police reject the recent statement made by the Archbishop of Colombo, His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, over the Easter Sunday bomb attack. Issuing a special statement, police media spokesman SSP Nihal Thalduwa made these remarks today. Police media spokesman SSP Nihal Thalduwa said that according to the statement of the Archbishop, former DIG Nalaka Silva, who was in charge of the Terrorism Investigation Division, was taken into custody conspiratorially in order to prevent the arrest of Zahran Hashim. following the issuance of warrants by the courts for his arrests. However, he rejected this claim on behalf of Sri Lanka police and emphasized that investigations are in fact underway in a transparent and efficient manner.
Taking a look at your sports news tonight, Ravindu Laksiri won the men's single championship of the National Squash Tournament. The women's champion is Fatum Izzardeen. The 41st National Squash Tournament was held at the Colombo SSC Squash Stadium. Men and national level athletes took part in the three-day tournament. Ravindu Laksiri and Shamil Vakil competed in the men's single finals. Ravindu Laksiri managed to win the championship by 4 rounds to 3. This is the 9th championship title for Ravindu Laksiri. Fatum Izzardeen and Chanethma Sineli competed in the women's singles finals. Fatum Izzardeen won the finals by 4 rounds to 3. This is the 3rd National Squash Championship for Izzardeen. A cycle race has been organised jointly by the Ministry of Sports and Sri Lanka Cycling Federation, marking the opening of the Mirigama to Kurunagala section of the Central Expressway. Minister Johnston Fernando took part in a media briefing held yesterday in this regard.
And that's a wrap on tonight's Rupavahini English News. Join us once again tomorrow. Until then, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good one.
Good night.